Take a look at this image. This is Pennsylvania's 181st district. Can you see it? Let me help you. Pennsylvania's 181st district is that little teeny weeny purple and black speck down near the lower right. 181 is in Philadelphia County. It does include some of the actual city of Philadelphia, and it is currently represented by this young man whose name you might know. This is Mr. MALCOLM KENYATTA. He's 30 years old. He's already in his second term, who's first elected in 2018. And MALCOLM KENYATTA is now in the race for the Senate open seat in Pennsylvania 2022. He's only 30 years old. I say that again because 30 years old is the absolute youngest you can be to be a sitting United States Senator. The framers put that into the Constitution. Now, as for the district that he currently represents in the state of Pennsylvania, District 181, here's what you need to know about it. It is primarily African American, about 61% African American, thoroughly Democrat, and has been for decades. It has approximately 60,000 residents, and about 47,000 of those residents currently are voting age. And that's important for where this story is going. MALCOLM KENYATTA received national attention last year after this piece of video went viral. Now, this is from October 2020. And I'm going to tell you that MALCOLM KENYATTA is mad. He is very mad over an election integrity resolution that is being introduced in the Pennsylvania House at the time. And it was introduced by this guy. This is Garth Everett, Republican Representative Garth Everett. His quote-unquote election integrity resolution demanded the creation of a committee of lawmakers controlled by, no surprise, Republicans to investigate the 2020 election. But remember, this was going on in October of 2020. So what Everett wanted to do was investigate the election in the middle of that election happening while it was going on. Garth Everett wanted to go about collecting information, including detailed specifics on Pennsylvania's voting systems and mail-in ballots and poll monitors and drop boxes, on and on and on and on, looking for any kind of inconsistencies or even suspected inconsistencies or something that could be turned around and pretzeled into an inconsistency and then presented to the public. Every morsel of problems, reported problems, alleged problems, suspected problems, anything Garth Everett could get his little Republican hands on, that's what he wanted to do. And what's important to remember here is that Everett's resolution wasn't based on any election fraud that had happened in a previous election where justifiably you might want to investigate. He wanted to investigate the election in the middle of it happening, in the middle of a pandemic, where it was very difficult for people to vote already because we couldn't line up next to each other for fear of catching a virus that might kill us. Here's something even worse. Garth Everett's what did we call it? The election integrity resolution, that's right. It required that the Legislative Budget and Finance Committee oversee the audit of the election. Okay, fine. Until you read on and see that the resolution also gives that committee the freedom to contract out that audit to an outside auditing agency or firm with no restrictions on who that outside agency might be. It could be Jared and Ivanka, for all Everett cares. So MALCOLM KENYATTA is justifiably a little bit mad. He's a little testy, right? It reached the point where Everett threatened to actually have MALCOLM KENYATTA thrown out of the room by security. Have I set this video up enough? Are you still with me? Are my YouTube analytics going to maintain up to this point in the video? I think it's worth it. I think you're going to dig seeing MALCOLM KENYATTA respond to this. Take a look.
This is unacceptable and a despicable piece of legislation.
Thank you for your comments.
No, and Mr. Speaker,
Representative Solomon.
No, Mr. Speaker, I'm not finished. I mean, Mr. Chairman.
You are finished.
I'm not finished.
You are
I'm
finished.
not finished.
Why can't he finish?
No, and I think I should be allowed to finish. I was elected just like you
If you would
here.
If you would lower your tone.
And you can tell me to lower my tone, but I'm not going to lower it when we're talking about our democracy and people's votes. Folks have a right to have a free and fair election, which this is going to blow up. This is unacceptable, Mr. Chairman, and I will tell you.
You've said
I will
that
tell
5
you,
times.
I know, and I'm glad that you're keeping count, because this is unacceptable, and I am so disappointed that you would even bring this up. When I read this and it had your name on it, I was so disappointed. And you should be too. You should be ashamed.
Okay,
and I
now
would
you're
ask,
down,
I
you're
would
down
ask
to personal
Mr.
stuff.
Chairman, I will make a motion. You can make whatever points you want. You're not going to shut me up. You are out of order, and you've been out of order.
Hey, look,
You have been out of order.
Representative Kenyatta,
Allow the member to
listen,
speak
I will
from
have,
Philadelphia.
if you don't get her to control.
Then you're going to have security come drag me out.
Threaten him with security.
Well, then get your member under
speak.
control.
You're going to have security come drag me out, Mr. Chairman?
Get your member under control.
Mr. Chairman, you're not going to say, get me under control. You need to
Are you
get your
gonna make a
caucus
motion?
under
No one
control.
is getting Malcolm Kenyatta under control.
Are you
are
making-
acting.
Are you making a
What
motion?
you're doing, your caucus is acting more like a cult than it's acting like a caucus. And I'm going to end my statements there. I am ending my statements there. This is personal because the democracy is personal to me. It should be personal to you.
In case you're wondering, because you're asking yourself, why in October 2020 was there any reason for this particular piece of legislation about auditing the 2020 presidential election as it was going on, why it was introduced at that particular time, and any specific reason why Malcolm Kenyatta might be personally upset about this, I think that this next video will help clear things up for you. This is from the first Biden-Trump debate. Now, this happened just a few days before the altercation that you just saw between Malcolm Kenyatta and Garth Everett. And in it, President Thumbhead is being asked about election integrity after claiming that his campaign poll watchers were improperly turned away at a Philadelphia early voting site, which, no surprise, turned out to be a complete falsehood. But if nothing else, you can see how the groundwork was being laid already from Republicans at all different levels to bring Philadelphia's voting integrity into question. Take a look.
Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest? And will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified? President Trump, you go first.
I'm urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully, because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia. Tens of thousands of votes. I don't know. I mean, could these tens of thousands of votes, I'm just guessing here, all of these manipulated ballots, where could they be coming from? Could they be coming from, I don't know, any place in particular where maybe black Democrats might be voting in especially large numbers?
After 4 years of division and just over a month since a failed coup at the United States Capitol, we face a question of who we want to be as a country. We have to choose. Are we going to go down the path of darkness? Or are we ready to bring a new day to Pennsylvania? A new day that demands we acknowledge how out of reach the American promise has been for too many of us. A new day where we confront head-on challenges in healthcare, in climate, in gun violence, and poverty. A new day where we don't just talk about justice, but we make it real in our lifetime. A new day where no matter who you are, who you love, how you worship, you get a fair shot.
It's time for a new day, Pennsylvania. I'm Malcolm Kenyatta, and I'm running for the United States Senate.
If you'd like to support Malcolm Kenyatta in his quest for the Pennsylvania Democrat nomination to run for the U.S. Senate in 2022 in Pennsylvania, here's where you can go, MalcolmKenyatta.com. That's KENYATTA. All right, I'm done for the day. You can check me out as always at YouCantBeatBlue.com and Facebook/groups/YouCantBeatBlue. I will be back with more candidates and more videos on my quest to help save the Republic. That's for you, Kieran. Until then, hang tight. Midterms start now. Go find some candidates that you love. Gary out.